We took over the mic from Daniel, but he has a little of a feel for what we're doing because we did it at the earlier service. But this is a little bit of a surprise for him. I'm Angie Sifferman, and I am the president of the Board of Trustees, and I'm joined by Reverend Justin Schroeder and my dear friend Jillian.
Good morning. I'm Jillian Stanton, and I'm serving as the president of YRUU this year, which stands for Young Religious Unitarian Universalists and is our high school age youth group.
It's so good when y'all are here. Today's a special day in our church as we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Reverend Daniel Kanter's ordination. Thank you. That's more than he bargained for. This is an important milestone to mark as he officially became part of the community of clergy that day, 25 years ago. I remember my own first day in this church. It was about 21 years ago this fall. I was sitting right about there. I was pregnant, and Daniel was the associate minister here. He warmly greeted my husband Joe and me after the service. Ooh, this is dangerous territory, and introduced us to Karen Lewis, who I know not to look at during the service, so that we could get acquainted with the nursery that we would need soon. We got to know Daniel early on as a connector of people and of ideas. About 5 years later, I had the opportunity to serve on the search committee that considered our next senior minister. That process introduced us to Daniel in a different and a deeper way. And we got to know him as a leader with big dreams, strategic vision, and deep commitment to the causes that he serves. And now I serve on the board of directors with him. I've gotten to know him more as a CEO these last years. And over the last couple of decades, I've experienced Daniel's leadership and growth alongside those of us who fill up these pews in the room and online. Jillian, 25 years is a long time. How long have you known Daniel?
Well, my story is a little bit different. I don't exactly remember the first time I met Reverend Kanter, as I was less than a month old. But he's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, and even before that. Throughout my childhood, some of my favorite memories at church are ones of watching him in Magic Box stories and play the starring role of Unitarian man at Hanging of the Greens. As I've grown older, he has served as an inspiration for what it means to truly care for your community. Reverend Kanter's dedication to social justice has shown me how important it is to advocate for others and stand up for what I believe in. As a member of the Racial Equity Task Force this year, I've seen how dedicated he is to equity, not only in our congregation, but in our larger community. He also went with my group on our coming-of-age trip to Boston, providing spiritual guidance as well as an abundance of fun facts about every place we stopped at. Each night, before we went back to our rooms, he led a closing circle, asking us how we felt that day and really listening to our ideas and discussion. He made us feel like we belonged, like we were in a space where we could truly be ourselves.
When I think of the word minister, I think of it as a verb. I think about how much our ministers carry with them every day. I've seen Daniel's face change when one of us tells him about the load that we're carrying. He switches into pastoral care mode and quickly scribbles down a note if he has pen and paper with him. Makes me wonder how many of us have been cared for by Daniel and in how many ways, as he welcomed us as new members or dedicated our children.
Or officiated a marriage, or visited us in the hospital, or honored our loved ones in a memorial service, or provided counsel when we were in need, or offered us inspiration and hope, often when he was probably working to find those himself. Daniel, we honor you, we love you, and we appreciate the complex role
that you have, both leading this place as our CEO and also being our minister through all the ups and downs of our lives and of your own. And we appreciate your humanity and vulnerability as you bring your full self to lead us. That allows us to connect more deeply. We are so thankful that you answered your call to ministry. And now we'd like to invite Reverend Justin Schroeder up to offer his own perspective on this important milestone.
Angie and Jillian, thank you for those beautiful words. I am really delighted to be here with you this morning. My dear friend and colleague, Ruth McKenzie, I helped her get connected with this congregation, and she spoke so highly of you all in this community. And so it is a joy to be here. It was a joy when Daniel reached out and asked if I would come and lead a men's retreat, which I did yesterday and then preach today. But to be here to mark this moment of 25 years of ordained ministry for my dear friend Daniel is a real honor and a joy this morning. I've known him for, I guess it's been over a decade, I think, and he is like a brother. There is a deep connection and love we share for one another. He is grounded, he is kind, I love his sense of humor, and he is a deeply committed minister and grounded preacher. You're so lucky to have him as your senior minister, and so lucky to have the staff you have as well. Daniel has dedicated his life to this faith, to God, to you all, to this institution, and to making the world a little more loving and just. And he has done it with humility, grace, purpose, and compassion. None of it has been about him. This is what I love about you, Daniel. In your bones, you understand. He understands that ministry is about serving something larger than yourself, and that's what he invites all of us into. I know he didn't want too much said on this particular anniversary because that's who and how he is. It's not about him. It's about ministry and serving that larger source. But we all took the mic, and I'm glad we did because this is a moment worth marking. And we give thanks for the blessings of his ministry, for this faith, this community, and for all of our lives. And so, Daniel, today I charge you to keep on keeping on so that you might be a blessing for everyone here and for this wider community. May it be so, and amen. Amen.
The staff have created, in a sense, this gift that we are hoping will speak for itself when Daniel opens it. In many ways, speak for itself.
Okay. That's what I love, is these kinds of surprises, yeah. All right. All right. It's the bicycle horn? Thank you.
In honor of the 25th anniversary, this is an antique Schwinn bicycle horn. As we know, Daniel loves cycling, and it's been silver-plated by a local craftsman, mounted by a congregation member. Thank you, Rob. And we hope it will keep you safe for another quarter decade.
Yeah. I think I can get this on my bike, yeah. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
One last thing before I turn the mic over. Please, after the service, join us for a reception and cake to honor Daniel and his ministry. Thank you.
Thanks. I guess yeah, okay. Well, one thing I know is that good churches make good ministers. And if I'm a good minister, it's because of you all. 22 of my 25 years here, where I've grown and changed and become an old person too, you know. I came here as a very young man, I think. But it's been a blessing to be here.